Hello everyone, my name is Jay Martin. We have another game from the Bunny Queen tournament, the same 1v1 thing we did a video on a few days ago. In this map we're playing on Austrian Pinnacles, which I gotta say is just maybe the weirdest map. I don't know what it is. It's not like the map itself is straightforward enough, but it just, every time I play this map I just kind of panic and I'm like, this is so weird. I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing. We have two players here. On the right is France's Elegia. Probably saying that wrong. Sorry about that, Elegia person. On the left, playing as Russia, we have Voltage. A little bit easier to pronounce. These dudes both had a bunch of like weird tags and stuff in their names. I'm not going to try to get into. So 1v1 on Austrian Pinnacles. The thing I want to point out to you to begin with is that Voltage has the Cossack Cav, which is a unit I'm not really sure I've ever seen used that much, but this is sort of like a militia Cav unit. It has a morale of 4, very, very low, and this has got to be a bad idea. But Voltage sends the Cossack Cav just into straight up charge the chasseur here. Where are we at? Where are we at? Oh, they're right there. No, maybe they stop and get shot at. Okay, now we charge. I have rarely, if ever, seen a scenario where the Cossack Cav proved to be useful. Morale of 4 on a Cav unit, much less just straight up charging in to trade out with other Cav units, I don't think is going to be very useful. But it was interesting. I guess these guys are like Lancers, right? This was kind of interesting watching this happen. Of course, we're going to watch them rout because they have a morale of 4, which is not terribly useful. I believe the same exercise is occurring over here. Yes, there we go. We're charging in. Granted, they probably got a charge bonus because these just here are stationary. But the Cossacks have a morale of 4. And so they're going to rout. And so the Russian cavalry routes, of course. This one way back there actually gets away. That's going to leave France with a pretty huge advantage for the rest of the game, I think. I don't know if this player has tried this before and had success with the Mad charging the Cossacks, but I can't imagine that works terribly often. Interesting matchup because this map does have the cold fatigue effect. Russia, as a faction, is immune to that. So, I don't know. I'm thinking if I'm Russia in this game, I want to like stay back and let the French units get tired, is what I'm thinking. Actually, what I did, because I actually played this map in my little tournament game, is both of us chose Russia, so it was kind of relevant. And then, of course, I was really impulsive and lost the game because of it. But it was close at least. But I think if I was Russia against France, in other words, if I was Voltage here, I would kind of hang back a little bit, maybe if I could. Let the French units get tired. I don't know. They're still at fresh, so it's not kicking in. There's an infantry at tired, so there's a thing. That's what I would do. French army for this game, let me turn you around. French army was 2 old guard, and then a young guard, and the 18th for the elites. There were 5 shooter cav. Shooter cav are dumb. This is my official statement. The Russians, I don't believe, brought any guard infantry, so it was all musketeers and Jaegers. I really don't think light infantry. I mean, guess the French Volts might be the exception, but I just don't think light infantry are super relevant on this map. The way I play this map usually, which is rare, is I just bring like all line infantry and militia and just bum rush you. Although, of course, I generally lose every time I play this map, so these dudes might know something I don't. There's a couple of fights brewing. We have one in the center and then one on the left. Well, what a real theme for this game is once the Russian Cossack Cav get off the field, the French shooter Cav just have free reign, and they wind up, yeah, there goes one, just kind of wiping out all of the vulnerable Russian light infantry units. So they don't really participate a whole bunch in the battle. Russia has a small advantage here. So that's, something. Swiss against a musketeer. And then Russia's making a big... I guess this is so weird because it's almost like this battle happened in three places. We have this going on, we have this going on, and then we have what's left of this going on. If France is really in control here, we have maybe 5 units against these 2. Russia has probably an advantage here, but they're not really fighting against anything. So, this is probably important. What is Russia trying to put together here? We got 4 units. And what I think really happens here, if I had to, let's make the theme for the game, is France just kind of lets Russia walk into them. Is kind of what happens. Okay, so what are these guys going to actually fight? And then what are we trying to fight over here? France should be reacting. France is probably looking at the other side of the map right now. Okay, so France starts reacting. There's an old guard and a Swiss against 2 musketeers. So the left end of the line, if these guys just shoot at each other, France should win. And then France has a real terrain advantage here. They just have more real estate to spread out on. So Russia's moving 3 musketeers down, but we can have a fair shootout, I guess. But I think France is advantaged here. And then all this really leaves for Russia is whatever we're doing here. We got 2 lights and a line. And somehow, if we look at the balanced power bar, France has way more troops left, probably because, the Cossack Cav routed super early. The French chasseurs picked off a couple of Russian Jaeger units, and then we just kind of shoot at each other, but France has 4 more units. It's kind of how this game goes. So once again, on the left, we even get a cav charge. Let me zoom in on this. All right, we don't get a square, so that's an insta rout, or an insta shatter, excuse me. There goes the other one. I mean, they were fighting old guards, so you probably weren't going to win that even without the cav. So France wins there. So then we have these 3 units in the center, which now are kind of, I guess, a little awkwardly positioned to fight against. But the Russians are going to start to shatter. And it's interesting that they're all shattering. I wonder if there's an old guard in the neighborhood. Yeah, here they go. So this game was much, much shorter than the previous one, obviously. And my experience on this map is the games are shorter. There's just something weird about this map that, if you're not familiar with... Hold on. I'm terrible at moving the camera. If you're not familiar with it, there's this really extreme hill, and you run up it, and you try to get in a position here, but because there's all these rocks and everything, you wind up... You can't form a big line like you're used to, these rocks here. So you have all these little, passes. So you wind up fighting like 3 units on 3 units or something. And the way I approach this, and I always lose on this map, is, I'll try to get like 2 or 3 units here shooting and pushing for melee a lot. And I don't know, this is a really weird, super high variance map. Somebody out there is probably an expert. They only play Austrian Pinnacles or something. But I don't know. Again, we go back to my comments in previous games. The train maps to me are weird. I'm just like, whatever. I think they generally tend to reward the more patient player. And if you're Russia and you just, spend a lot of Cossack Cav early, then all of a sudden... You're down 16 to 20. You're probably not going to win the game from that position, I think, is the deal, no matter how well you do it. I actually have played a game. Amber and I played a 2v2 on this map not long ago where we did the 10 militia rule. You had to have 10 militia in your army is the rule we played with. And we just melee rushed the shit out of our opponents. And that worked. So... That's kind of how I play this map. I think the theme on these terrain maps, if we look at this experience plus our previous game, is the more patient, slightly more defensive player probably wins. And Russia is basically dead here. We're just watching some lights shoot it out with the 18th, and the young guard are rolling in to make their presence felt. I'm surprised these guys are still fighting. Actually, they've taken very few casualties. That's interesting. Shooter Cav sitting in the back, peppering away at the old musketeers there. Shooter Cav should probably not be in the game. Should probably not. Interesting, Russia also has the Shooter Cav, and they're a very good unit. What was kind of weird is I almost want to reload the game, and it didn't seem to me like the Russian players spent all their money. I'd have to go back and itemize, try to recreate their build, but like they didn't have guards. They used the really cheap calves, so I'm wondering if Russia even spent all their money, which is interesting. Maybe not. I have to go back and check that out. Obviously, France is going to win this game. That's Elegia is the French player. And I guess Voltage just, this was the first game they played, and if I'm reading the email correctly, the Voltage, the Russian player, just conceded from this point and said, no, we don't even need to play a second game, and conceded the match to Elegia. So good luck to Elegia. And so there you go. That's a game on Austrian Pinnacles. I'm just going to fast forward it so we can see the results screen. So the Bunny Queen tournament is happening. I want to say I had a communication with Amber last night. She wants to host a grassy tournament, which would be cool. I'll probably play in that. I might actually be able to win a match on a grassy only tournament. And then somebody else had left a comment in the previous video. They were like, could you do one with the NTW3 mod, which I haven't played in like 6 years. But apparently there's a community for that. So maybe those will all happen. Those are all tournaments that you can join. By all means, do it. Again, I'll put a link to the tournament group in the description of the video. This one wasn't terribly interesting. Russia ran all their cav super early. From that, France played a little passive. Russia continued to run into them and didn't really have the units or anything to make anything happen. So once you're 16v20, you're probably not going to win. That happens. Anyway, great game for playing Voltage. GG for just, showing up, playing your tournament matches. Thanks for participating in the multiplayer community. And Elegia is France. Good luck advancing in the rest of the tournament, dudes. Again, thanks for playing and just creating content for the rest of us to watch. I enjoy watching your games. At least some people will watch the video, and maybe you yourselves get to watch the video, and that's enough. That's worth doing it. So, again, these two players, GG, and good luck in the rest of the tournament. Good luck in the future tournaments. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other's. Thanks for watching. Go consider signing up for Amber's tournaments. My name is Jay Martin. Have a great day.